Welcome to the Lift and Glow Fitness Podcast, the health and fitness podcast for women who want to look great and feel great for good. Whether your goal is to lose weight, build muscle, or you just want to be the healthiest version of yourself, the advice that we share here is going to help you do that by building habits that stick without sucking the fun out of your life. Before we get stuck in today's episode, please make sure to hit subscribe so that you don't miss any future episodes from us. One thing that we see all the time is that people can get results, but they just can't keep them. So, shall we talk about why results do not last? Mm-hmm. What do you think? So, what would be if you're faced with someone who's saying like, you know, I'm always yo-yoing, I can lose weight, but I actually can't keep it off. What's the solution for them?
I think one big thing is always like restriction, isn't it? Because, for example, I had a girl stand up to online coaching yesterday, and she's come to me from Slimming World, and she said like she'd lost, I think it was over 2 stone, and like obviously that's amazing.
Yeah.
But now she's gone back to where she started, and she's struggling to be consistent with it and all that. And I think it's because if you restrict too much, you're not going to maintain that for the rest of your life, are you? Like, you know, people who cut out carbs and people who don't ever eat chocolate or say no to every social occasion, like that's not real life, or if it is, it's very fucking boring and sad. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's finding ways and strategies, which is obviously what we all harp on about as coaches, that can fit into your life already, and just like manipulate what you've got there already to make it a bit better, rather than just revamping everything and making it
not overhauling your life.
Non-maintainable.
Yeah. Just adjusting and tweaking things rather than like completely overhauling it. Same, I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and she's just started working with me online, and she said like, I'm always able to, like, I can lose weight, but I'm just struggling to actually keep it off. And I was like, well, when was the time that you felt your absolute best? And we've all got clients who have said the exact same thing as, well, in lockdown, when I couldn't get a takeaway, when I couldn't go out with my mates, and it was literally just everyone exercised. Well, not everyone exercised, but it was easier to exercise. It was easier to manage your food. You really couldn't go anywhere. And she was like, I felt amazing. And she said, and I was like, well, what went wrong then? And she said, well, when the world opened up again, I just started living again. Yeah. And I was like, well, there's the problem. It's that it is easy to lose weight when you stop living like
a life.
We say, don't we? Like, any idiot can eat a low calorie diet. Like, any idiot can just starve themselves and lose weight. That doesn't mean that that's the right thing to do, but you can do that. Yeah. The real, like, I think the real skill of a coach is to be able to support you on how you can have a good quality of life while still working towards your goals.
Yeah, because it's not sustainable to just not go out and not go for food. My favourite thing is going for food and going for drinks. Like, you can still do that. Yeah. And lose weight, lose fat. You can do it all. But yeah, some people just think that they have to go head first and just like do everything at once, when you need to just implement it into your life, like, as you said, tweak it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do you learn balance if you don't allow yourself to be in those situations? So if you say like, I'm not going to eat out for the next 6 months or 3 months or whatever, but then you haven't learned how to navigate any of them situations. You're going to eat out, you're going to go to restaurants, you're going to have alcohol. You need to develop new habits around those things. I know we say, you can live a life that you can enjoy, and you definitely can, but it will look different. Like, I'm not going to like lie to people. You can't be someone who is on the cocktails every weekend. You can't be someone who every single time you go out, you have starter, main, dessert, and a bottle of wine. Like, we're not saying everything can stay the same. We're saying you can still socialise, you can still drink alcohol, but we need to change those habits.
I think that's it as well. Like, if you say to yourself, right, okay, I'm not going to go out for a meal for 6 months now, come the 6 months is over, and you go to like Miller and Carter or, you know, wherever, you're going to get every single course. You might even get 2 starters to share between, or 3 starters to share between 2 of you. You're going to smash, like, you know, your favourite cocktails that you've not had for 6 months. So
Miller and Carter would not be my choice after not
That's
eating
because I went on Sunday.
I know, I did think that.
I do think now Miller and Carter is like, that used to be the place to be. And now it's just a thing of the
past.
past.
It hit the spot on Sunday though.
Yeah, I bet. Did you have a roast?
No, just a steak. Yeah, it was unreal. But yeah, that's why I was on. But anyway, wherever you want to go with Hallie and whatever. But like, if you've restricted for that long, then you're going to go overboard. Whereas if you, not saying you have to work with a coach, but having someone there to keep you accountable, you know, and give you tips on how to handle everything, you know, what, and even like loads of my clients, I know yours do as well, like if they know they're going to Bacaro or wherever, they'll send us the menu and say, right, okay, what 3 tapas would you get from here? Yeah. And it's knowing that, because beforehand you might choose 3 that aren't very nutritious or that aren't going to fill you, and et cetera. So yeah, I think it's handy to have someone there to guide you.
Yeah, I think having a coach definitely helps, because it's basically just your fast track, isn't it? So you can definitely do it on your own, but it'll probably take you longer. More trial and error. Whereas we can look at someone's food diary, or we can look at a menu and be like, go for this, or this is a sensible swap, or so it definitely does help to have a coach. But I think just like trying to acknowledge that what got you to where you are now wasn't helpful. And so if you never want to feel the way you feel now, things have got to be different. And if you are expecting to feel good for life, which is what we're trying to do, aren't we? We're trying to help people actually get results that last. Like, we're not fast fat loss. We're not quick fixes. We want women who are ready to invest like the time and energy into really taking care of themselves. So you're going to have to accept that life's going to look very different. So we're saying you can enjoy it, but things are going to have to change, and you're going to have to become somebody who takes care of herself like all of the time. And obviously there's like times where you have breaks, like holidays or celebrations
birthdays and stuff,
birthdays. And, you know, there's definitely times that you can let loose and enjoy, but you can't be that girl. Like I always say, like, I'm no longer the girl who always goes to the bar and comes back with 2 drinks. Like, I'm no longer the girl
2 sugary cocktails as well.
I'm no longer the girl who's like at the lemon and lime at the end of a night out. I mean, you can't get me on a night out for one.
God, but, lemon and lime.
You know, I'm not the one saying, let's stop at the Mackey's, let's get a pizza. Like, I can be led astray, but it always used to be my idea. It always used to be, I'm going to get a couple of starters because I can't decide. It's like, well, no, I just have like a much more moderate approach. And then that has allowed me to get to a point where I feel healthy year round, rather than just this always yo-yo and always backwards and forwards. Like, this client who I spoke to yesterday, it's been, so she's 33, and from 18 to 33, she's just been up and down yo-yoing. Like,
it's when people say they've been on a diet for like 10 years, I'm like, whoa. But obviously, well, something's not working then, is it? Like,
well, it's clearly not, like, because it doesn't take 10 years if you do a diet properly. Like, I was realistic with this person. I said, give me 6 months to literally change things, adjust things. And even that might not be enough. Because you need to start thinking, not, oh, can I do this in 4 weeks? And I need to do this in 8 weeks. I've got a holiday in 3 weeks. Like, fuck off. No, you're not changing your life in that amount of time.
We aren't the coaches for you then, sorry.
No, like, it's we want people who are sick of this shit, basically. It's like, I'm sick of doing this every year. I'm sick of, you know, these habits that aren't serving me. I'm sick of falling back into them. We want people who are like, right, that's enough now. I want to take care of myself, and I actually want to feel good for good.
Yeah. It's like on my Instagram post today, I shared what they answered in a check-in.
Yeah.
And it was like,
oh, she looks amazing.
I know, doesn't she?
She's in the gym with me today.
Yeah. And when she put that progress, like, well, how do you feel about your progress? And she put, I'm over trying to be perfect now. I just want to feel fit and healthy and, you know, for good. Like, basically just not, you know, because perfection doesn't exist. Like, I think you'll realise, like, these people who've dieted for 10 years, or, you know, they're on their 6th round of Slimming World or whatever, you're never going to reach your perfect, because we're all like as happy and healthy as we are in our own bodies. Like, there's always something that you're going to want to improve on slightly, because that's just being human, isn't it? So I think you've got to realise, like, perfection isn't a thing. And if someone is, I said to Leanne yesterday on a check-in, I was like, if that person is perfect, you know, that person you look at on Instagram and think, oh, like, I love stuff like her hair, like, she's not going out with her mates, she's not, you know, eating out and drinking,
might not have kids,
she's not going on holiday, she's miserable as fuck behind the scenes, but on Instagram she looks perfect, and that's what
she probably has an eating disorder. Like, there's all of this mad stuff that goes on Instagram.
It's all about like just feeling fit, strong and healthy, and like we were saying before in the last podcast, like, being proud of who you are and the body that you're in, isn't it? And what you can achieve.
I do think that, like, it's so much easier to feel good for good if you stop thinking about, I'm losing weight, I'm going on holiday so I need to lose weight, I've got this wedding so I need to lose weight. Like, stop giving yourself events to work towards. I know that people can find that motivating and inspiring or whatever it is, but the amount of women who we will get in incredible shape for something special like a wedding, and then you just never see them again. And I'm like, but we've just missed the whole point of everything that we've just done. You got married and then you just never came back, and it's like, you felt fucking great. And I know it was hard to get there, but staying there is well easier.
Yeah.
You know, like, obviously the hardest bit is this diet bit, But then the maintenance, people just forget about that maintenance bit. And so I think that is like a huge mistake. People's results don't last because they give themselves this event to work towards, but then they pay no attention to maintenance. They think it's only diet or indulge. There's no like middle grounds.
I think it's like similar kind of what you just said is like, don't fixate on the end goal, like fall in love with the process instead. Like fall in love with, you know, being proud of yourself for getting in the gym and hitting PBs or, you know, doing Hyroxes, whatever, like eating a healthy meal, doing a healthy food shop, like feel proud of the actions that you're taking to feel better about yourself and to lose weight rather than just constantly thinking about that end goal that's like 6 weeks, 6 months ahead.
Yeah.
I think it's important to like enjoy the process as well, which is obviously another thing that we all preach as coaches, isn't it?
You're not gonna stick at something you hate.
No.
So, and I know dieting is hard, but it doesn't need to, like I just said, you can enjoy maintenance. Like it
can be fun.
It can be fun. Yeah. Like we don't all aggressively diet all the time. Like I think people think that they need to live in the extreme part of it, and so they're like, oh, it's too hard now. The holiday's done, so I'm not going to go back. And it's like,
but why?
It's so frustrating for us. Like we've just helped you so much.
All our hard work's gone.
I know, and I think as well, like I do remember what it was like just to train for holidays and stuff. Whereas now, it isn't about how I look or what I weigh. It's about being healthy.
Yeah.
And I think I just wish I could just shake every single woman who's always talking about losing weight and just be like, focus on your health.
Yeah.
If you focus on your health, you will look and feel better without a doubt.
Easy.
And even just doing those, even just making sure that your like habits like align with being a healthy person, you feel better in yourself. Like it just gives you more confidence overall, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think obviously I mentioned this before, like I was on my story before, and I feel like loads of people have resonated with this, is basically that like I don't think people get results that stick because they don't identify with being a person who takes care of themselves all the time.
Yeah.
So they identify with the fact that they diet for holidays and then they go back. So they're all or nothing. They just tell themselves, I'm all or nothing, or oh, I can't stick at anything. I'm just inconsistent. That's exactly how I used to be, where it's like you need to now. I remember I had this conversation with myself. I was on the beach in the Dominican Republic. I'd been crying because Fran took a photo of me, and I was like, last year I was so like slim and I felt so good, and none of me like clothes fitted well and stuff. And I had this little conversation with myself, and I was like, that's it now, Hayley. You are just somebody who trains year round. There's no like, that's it. You go
no
to
crash
gym.
courses anymore.
Yeah, it's not for a holiday. It's not for, because this was a last minute holiday that I was on. So I just basically said to myself, I want to be able to put any outfit on, go on any holiday and just feel good. And so it was like, you need to just do this. You are now somebody who goes to the gym and never stops.
It's just a healthy individual.
Yeah. And you're just somebody who takes care of your health. You fuel your body well, still treat your body, but you fuel it well. And that's just who you are. And I think a lot of people don't do that.
No.
They don't identify.
They wait until like 6 weeks before it, and then they think, right, I'm going to start now.
Yeah.
Like I've got a lot of clients that will, you know, start checking in again. You know, people who have just like stopped with check-ins, and then they'll start checking in again and be like, right, I've got a holiday in 5 weeks. And I'm like, why now? Like, why didn't you just do this for the year? You knew you were going on that holiday, like, but you'd just feel amazing all year round rather than just for that specific holiday.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just hard, isn't it? Like it's trying to like drill it into people's heads.
Yeah.
I think another thing that stops with consistency as well, or like is a struggle, is you just talked about them, but it's the way you talk to yourself, isn't it? If you tell yourself that you're all or nothing, if you tell yourself you can't do, you can never squat that weight, or, you know, I can never fit back into that dress, then you're not going to. If you think negatively, your actions are going to be negative. Whereas if you think, no, I can do this, and like, you know, give yourself that positivity and, you know, tell yourself you can do it and be proud of yourself when you do things and stuff like that, makes a massive difference as well.
Yeah. Our Mike once said to me, and this was in a business kind of sense, but it works for coaching as well, is that if you think you can or you think you can't, both times you're right. So if you think that you are somebody who's just out of control, if you think you've just got no willpower, if you think that you're just someone with low motivation, or you're just someone who yo-yos, you identify with that thing, you are that. You will be that. Whereas if you're like, no, I am consistent, and you tell yourself, no, I'm consistent, and you remind yourself of that when you're having those debates in your head. So like, there's the amount of times where like, oh, I really don't want to train today. But I'm like, no, but you're someone who does. You're someone who does it even when you don't want to do it. So go and fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like it just.
And you're lucky that you can.
Yeah. And you can do it, and you can change the way that you show up by literally just showing up for yourself. Even if you don't fully believe it about yourself at first, just tell yourself, no, I am consistent. I am, and show up like that. And you will become more consistent. But yeah, I do think that's a big thing is people don't believe that they can maintain it because they've spent that long. And I don't blame them if you've spent 17 years yo-yoing or 10 years yo-yoing.
And like constantly building trust with yourself and then breaking it and building trust and break. Like, it's hard, isn't it, to overcome that?
That's another good point is that people whose results don't stick, they break promises to themselves.
Yeah.
Like we see that all
and
the
then you
time.
don't trust yourself, do you? Like if you tell yourself you're going to go to the gym like on these set days of the week, but you don't do any of them for 6 weeks, then you're just telling yourself that you can't do it. And like you're going to lose trust, aren't you? Whereas if you do it, you're like, oh yeah, I can do it now. And like, you know, you just, even the simplest of things like I'm going to go on a walk today. But if you always skip that walk, you're not going to feel good about it, are you?
It's you're not going to feel good about yourself because I know when you let yourself down, you don't feel good about it. So if you're doing that all the time, how's that gonna like show up in like your self-worth or in how you act? Like I always use the analogy of like if your nan needs to be somewhere at 11 o'clock on Sunday, you're gonna take her there. You're not gonna cancel on your nan. You know what I mean? But you'll cancel on yourself.
Yeah, it's mad.
You know, also like you'll always turn up to your Botox appointment. You'll always turn up to get your nails done, your hair done, but you're not fucking turning up for your workouts. No point. Like paying all this money to like look after yourself in those ways if you're not going to look after yourself from within.
You feel even worse for it as well. Like I know if I go to the gym or if I've got a gym planned and I've been thinking, right, I'm going to go to the gym Monday, and then I get there and I think, oh, really can't be bothered doing it. And then I'm like, I don't do it. I'm going to feel even worse than like I'd feel so much better for just doing it. And I'm like, oh, and it'll play on my mind then, and I'll be like, why didn't I just do it? I could have done the bare minimum, but it's still doing something and it's still moving. I was always going to feel better for just like showing up.
Yeah, well, that was me this morning. That was me this morning. So obviously had a slightly traumatic morning. And I was in the class. Obviously, I was booked on the 8 o'clock class. Always go at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday. That's another thing. Like making it part of your routine makes you consistent. But I was always going on a Wednesday, and I was in the 6 and 7. I was like, just take yourself off the class. Like it's full. Like just take yourself off it. Just go home. Go and cuddle the dog. Go and feel sorry for yourself. And then I was in my head like, you're not someone who does that. Like you're always saying, do the things that you don't want to do when you know it'll make you feel better. So be that person.
Get it done.
Yeah, like lead by example, like be that person. And I knew I kind of like in my head had this vision of if you go home and sit on the couch, you will feel worse. Whereas if you drag yourself through this workout, even though it'll be shit. And it wasn't, I wasn't shit. I didn't want to be there. I wanted to walk out halfway through, but I felt better for finishing it.
Done.
And it always does make you feel better. Yeah. And I just think a lot of people don't have enough evidence of the fact that they can do that. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So they think they haven't got enough. Like I know every time I've done the thing, even though I didn't want to, it's always made me feel better. Yeah. But a lot of people have never pushed themselves to do it. Yeah.
I find as well those workouts that you don't want to do, like give it 3 to 5 minutes and you feel so much better for moving anyway, don't you? Like once you're into it, you're there, and then you just think, right, even if it's like a workout that you don't necessarily, you know, you try and like rush through it, you think, do you know what? Like sometimes I'll go in the gym and go, do you know what? I'm going to stay 40 minutes, see where I get to, and then go. Like if you really can't be arsed, or, you know, you take it on time, whatever, but something is always better than nothing, isn't it?
Yeah. When you're 10 minutes into anything,
it feels so much better.
It's like work tasks. Obviously, I have like an annoying amount of admin, like don't open a gym because there's loads of admin. Or like tasks like if I've got to write a long email or like any sort of task that needs to be done, I just say to myself, like it's not something that I want to do. But if I'm like, right, just try for 5 minutes, and the next minute I'm half an hour in and the steam coming off the keyboard.
Into it, yes.
Yeah. So it's just like set the expectation low of just do the warm up, just start the workout, and I think a lot of people just aren't used to pushing themselves to do the things that they don't want to do. Like expecting to be motivated. Sorry, but
motivation. I think that word should be banned from.
I do. It's a complete myth. Motivation. Like you get motivated after you do something. So for example, we ran the half marathon. We're all motivated for next year. Yeah. I wasn't like motivated for next year at the weekend. Yeah. Like it's, you do something And then that good feeling motivates you.
Yeah.
It's action first, then motivation. Whereas people sit around like the
Waiting
amount
for
of
it.
times, I just don't have the motivation for that.
No.
I'm like, well, you're never going to fucking get it because you have to start first.
You have to start doing something to get the motivation.
Yeah. And I think that's why a lot of people struggle when they've got married or when they've had the event. It's like, well, I haven't got any motivation now.
That goalpost gone.
Yeah. But I'm like, well, your health should be your motivation.
Yeah.
Your like 80-year-old body should be your motivation. People don't think like
getting the shopping in the car on your own is motivation, or putting your case up on the top on your own is motivation, isn't it?
And this is why I think it's really important that we don't just always think about weight loss, that we don't always think, I'm doing this for this, I'm doing this for this to lose weight, because that runs out of steam very quickly. Like once you reach your goal, you're a bit like, well,
what
now
next?
what?
Yeah.
And so the only way to go is to think health. And obviously you can set yourself goals like strength or performance and running and all of that, but it has to be deeper than how you look, because it's not enough for most people to stick at it forever.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else that you'd want to add?
No.
No?
Don't think so.
Good.
Okay, all good.